here at Regent Hall in London.
Welcome to
I'm Kevin Sims, I'm the editor of All the World magazine at international headquarters.
And my name's Becky, I've come all the way from Sydney, Australia. We oversee the Sphere in South Asia, regions for the whole world mobilising campaign, and I'm excited to be here. I'm pumped.
Regions for the whole world
And I hope that many of you have already watched the fantastic meeting this morning.
And
it really was
many
quite
of you have
inspiring.
already watched
Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to
really was
take
quite
you out
inspiring.
and make you part of the march.
Now, what we're going to do
down
next
Trafalgar
is
Square,
we're going
all the way
to
through
take you
central
out
London.
and make you part
It's going to be quite
of the march.
spectacular.
Down to
Becky
Trafalgar
here is
Square,
going to be
all the way
going out
through central London.
and joining the march.
It's going to be quite spectacular.
So
Becky here
when
is
she goes
going
out,
to be going
hopefully
out
you'll
and
get a sense of
joining
the
the march
excitement and really understand what's going on.
When she goes out, hopefully you'll
I had a
get a
little bit
sense
of a walk
of the
down the street
excitement and
yesterday,
really
and I can tell you
understand
now
what's
there
going
are
on.
thousands of people that walk down this main street, and it's just going to be such a spectacular experience to see the Salvation Army, walk down the main street of London towards Trafalgar Square, and then, just basically just showcase who Jesus is to this community and to the world. So looking forward to getting out there.
So we put up the map there to show you where it's going to go. If you know London, then you might know what's going to happen. Right, Becky, I think you're good to go.
I'm good to go.
You're good to go.
I'll see you.
So we'll see you later.
Yep, see you there.
Enjoy.
Let's go. Let's head out there. Yep. All right, here we go. We're going through the auditorium, through these doors. We're going through the auditorium out to where everyone is gathering for the march. At the moment they are congregating outside these doors, so let's go.
You couldn't see it for 5 seconds.
Hey girls. Hi. Straight out these doors here. Which way? This way? This way. Let's go. Crossing the road. Hi everyone! Say hi!
And of course you got into the classic, the zip. Yep. They're a bit late up there on the right.
We've got them all lined up here now.
Who's moved on?
Welcome back. While Becky goes and catches up with the march, I'm here in the studio with envoys Steve and Sharon. I've forgotten your name. Bussy, sorry. Mine goes blank sometimes. It's great. Thank you so much for joining us here. Now, I was reading that on the 5th of October, 1879. But we should get a graphic up here that shows it. We had the two Hallelujah females, and it also mentions the Salvation Factory.
That's correct.
Now, you are from the Salvation Factory.
Yes.
So, do you want to tell us something about the Salvation Factory? It's in USA Eastern. Is it the same one that was started all the way back then, or is this something that's sort of being revisited now?
Well, actually, it's closer to home. The first Salvation Factory was actually in Coventry, England.
Oh, wow.
And so Coventry played a key role in, the birthing of the Salvation Army. That was where the flag, was first introduced. Along with that, it was where the Shirley family really got saved and were sent out from as well to start. So in many ways, they took the ideas which they'd seen in Coventry and applied them in Philadelphia. Salvation Factory, though, for us represents what's great about the Salvation Army and our heritage is that we have the most incredibly innovative heritage. And Salvation Factory its purpose is really about renovating Army essentials, and really sort of making sure that we are aligned in terms of those core pieces, but then innovating in terms of Army expressions and tapping into that creative spirit that we've seen throughout our entire history, and finding new imaginative ways to be able to bring the gospel to the public.
Fantastic. So what sort of things do you have that are part of Salvation Factory?
Oh, I would say a great way to find that is to go to our website, salvationfactory.org. At the moment, we're busy collating and collaborating the largest online collection of Salvation Army historic documents. So if anybody wants to get to know more about the Salvation Army and who they are and what their identity is all about, that's a great place to start. But in addition to that, we've got videos and all kinds of resources, even for a local corps who wants to maybe do something special. We have whole packages that they can download and be able to use.
So is it for Salvationists, really, to give them tools that they can use?
Yes,
Very much so.
Very much so. The aim is, again, when you think about our heritage, again, we're sitting on such an amazing, gold mine. But often people don't have access to that. And so the idea is, how can we mine that gold and put it in the hands of every Salvationist around the world? I mean, if you think about it, there's between junior and senior soldiers 1.5 million Salvationists in the world. And really what the whole Mobilizing vision is about is, how do we first of all, make all of us, because each of us come from one small local corps where we operate, very much like a small corps, but when you see us all collectively together, that's 1.5 million people. So what are ways which we can resource every person in the Army world to get to the best of who we are as a Salvationist, to learn from the source of what that is, and allow that to inspire people to aspire to that in our own generation today.
That's fantastic. I mean, I'm the editor of All the World magazine, so I completely hear what you're saying, that I'm amazed at how many people don't know about the internationalism of the Salvation Army. So you're talking about, not just the internationalism, but the heritage, what's been done and tried before, and sort of working methods.
Exactly. And it's incredible when you look at our history to just see how creative and innovative the early Salvationists were. So it's about their courage, yes, and but it's also about their creativity. And I think Catherine and William Booth were big proponents of that. Catherine said, our job as the Salvation Army is to find the best platter on which we can serve salvation to the people. And I think that's the key of what we've got to do. How can we take the essence, the core of who we are, and package it in a way that this generation is going to be able to hear the message?
So to you, the whole call for the whole world mobilizing is you're completely with it, and obviously you're part of this. And are working with the international headquarters team. What specifically have you done for the whole world mobilizing?
Well, early on, first of all, we want to say the vision which the General has for the Salvation Army in seeing us mobilize is a prophetic message to the Salvation Army. And early on, we played a role in helping to sort of conceptualize some of those strategies and to design some of those plans, and then really pass over to Commissioner Rosalie Peddle, who's championed it and built that team up and things. And so we just played a small part in given a little bit of the crazy of Salvation Factory, injecting that into the system, and then just what's amazing is that once people hear that message, you just see it. It taps into the distributed creative intelligence of Salvationists around the world, and to see things happening in locations around the world, it just shows how vibrant our Army is. And I think this year, what's incredible is that it's just shown just the tip of the iceberg of possibility of what we can be doing. Can I read something for you?
Of course.
Frederick Booth Tucker said in 1890, I'm going to pull it out here because I don't want to misquote him, but and this is what amazes me about being part of the Salvation Army today. So I'm going to have to scroll back here because of some photos this morning. He said this in 1890. And this was in the biography of Catherine Booth. He said this: "The very wires with which they have linked together the remotest towns and even villages have bound the world with an electric network across which will one day prove the medium for transmitting religious currents, the mighty results of which shall astound the universe. When once communications are complete, some touch, like the touch of a button, the pressure of a button, may yet convulse the globe in the throes of a revival that shall simultaneously affect all of mankind. With God at one end of the telephone and man at the other, messages may soon be flashed whose echo shall resound simultaneously through every land." 1890, that was said. 2017, we see that vision fulfilled through the whole World Mobilizing campaign, where Salvationists in Pakistan and in New Zealand and in the United States and here in Great Britain are able to take a picture with their phone, to upload something to this whole World Mobilizing app, and to tell the story of the Salvation Army around the world instantaneously from 1.5 million points of view, to inspire other Salvationists, not just from our history, but from what God is doing right now, here today. And how to live that out.
That's amazing. So we think of sort of H.G. Wells as the great imaginative thinker of Victorian London, but it might have been Booth Tucker as well.
Absolutely,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
And he was very much influenced by William and Catherine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and their innovative strategies to reach the lost.
And that's what's great, is that when you have the general, the founder of the Salvation Army, saying, "Go for it,"
Yeah.
you know, people go for it. And you get the Frederick Booth Tuckers, and you get the Elijah Cadmans, and the Eliza Shirleys, who go out and try something, and are daring and innovative and willing to do whatever it takes. Our general has said the exact same thing today, and he's released that missional spirit, that creative, imaginative desire to see the world saved by whatever means necessary.
Fantastic. Right, well, I know you want to go and join in the march and be part of the open air, so I understand, but we can go back to the footage. They've got that sorted now, so I can say thank you ever so much. Thank you for sharing your passion and your vision.
Great.
Go and enjoy the march and be part of it and the open air, and we'll see you later.
Thank you
God
so
bless.
much. Thank you for your time.
That's great. All right, God bless you.
Thank you.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
thank you. Thank you ever so much.
I thought you were done
Hey,
there.
no worries.
No, we were just waiting to cut through to these. Thank you ever so much. Thank you for sharing your passion and your vision. Go and enjoy the... The Angular Christian charity, but it's named after the god Anteros, the Greek god, who's the Greek god of returned love. and it was built to commemorate the philanthropist Lord Shaftesbury. And the other thing about Piccadilly Circus is people wonder where the clowns and the acrobats are. Well, it's not actually a circus, and it's not meant to be a circus. It used to be a complete roundabout, or a circle. So as circus, circle. There we are. As we go down now, and we can see the camera panning past the front of the march, and the international leaders marching just behind the flags there. So they finished working their way down Regent Street. That's the Corps Sergeant Major at the front of the parade there. And now you're just seeing the side of the rickshaw that's actually helping to bring these photos for us down at the front. Down Haymarket they go. Haymarket has got a lot of theatres. It's part of what's sometimes known as Theatreland over here. So you can see, yep, lots of theatres going past there, and lots of the architecture that probably London is renowned for. Well, as they go past the bottom of Haymarket and turn left into Trafalgar Square and start setting up there, I'm joined back in the studio by Lieutenant Colonel Evie Diaz and by Colonel Lisbeth Verlander. You'll be able to tell by their accents that they're not locals, they're not Londoners. Evie, if you'd like to say something about where you're from?
Proudly. I'm from America. I'm from Chicago, the USA Central Territory.
And Lisbeth?
Proudly from Norway.
Beautiful. And Lisbeth and Evie have both been very heavily involved in the preparations behind today and in some of the thinking behind the whole world mobilising. So can you tell us, particularly for this morning, what part have you been playing in the preparations? I know, Evie, you've been very heavily involved.
Well, behind the scenes, I hope, mostly. Just helping to make sure that the programs are flowing and that people know what they're doing. So, yeah, I'm happy to help that way.
And Lisbeth, you had a very important role as well.
Yes, I have been looking after some of our guests and making sure that they have what they need at the right time, and also a proper meal, because they start on this long march.
It is very long. I mean, they're still going.
Yeah.
But so, really, for you, what is mobilising about?
Well, for me, it's really about getting out in our communities. I think the General said it so well, that we will die if we decide that our best efforts are inside the hall. So we really need to get out, and I think Mobilizing is just reminding us that that's where we started.
Yeah. And Colonel Elizabeth?
Well, to tell the gospel story, even with word if needed, and if we can do it without words. We can do it perhaps in a way that makes another kind of impact if we can show the love of Jesus in everyday action.
That's right. So I think we're going to go back to the vision on the march, because they're just coming down towards Trafalgar Square now.
Ooh, fun.
So we're going to go back there, and we'll come back to speak to the others in a minute.
into the gallery. Just before these white pipers.
Here we are then, we're just going into Trafalgar Square. Now what you can see in the middle is Nelson's column. And that was built to honour Admiral Horatio Nelson, who led the British to victory at the Battle of Trafalgar. When it was originally built, the idea was that there was going to be some sort of statue of William IV there, and the whole square was going to be named in his honour, but unfortunately for him that didn't happen. Nelson's column is 169 foot 3 inches tall. When they refurbished it in 2006, they discovered it was actually 14 foot 6 inches shorter than previously thought. Oh. Hello, welcome back again. So you're back with me and the Colonel and the Lieutenant Colonel. I'll just call them by their names. It's much simpler that way, isn't it? Lisbeth in particular, you've been heavily involved in the outreach at IHQ. Oh, I think we're going back to the scenes there. We'll come back and ask Lisbeth about it in a minute.
Yes, good. Back live again now. Can't see Becky anyway.
As you can see, they're setting up at the north end of the square. Now this is known as the North Terrace, and it's right in front of the National Gallery, which houses some of the UK's best known artworks. The North Terrace is actually owned by the council, but the square itself is owned by the Queen. The same as Regent Street, so they've been on a lot of royal footage recently. And not far around the corner is Buckingham Palace itself, and the Mall, which was host to the Long March that ended Boundless, the International Congress, leads from the bottom corner of Trafalgar Square right up to Buckingham Palace. Oh, somebody coming to say hello there. Here's Regent Hall with a swing number, and as you can see, they don't just stand around and play.
afternoon, London. It's great to welcome you here to this great gathering. We're going to share some music. We're going to share some dance. We're going to celebrate God's goodness to each and all here today. So just while I'm sharing a couple of verses from the scripture, our first group is going to come. They're going to dance for you, and we're going to enjoy a great few moments with some of our young people. Listen to God's word from the psalmist who says, I waited a long time for the eternal. He finally knelt down to hear me. He listened to my weak and whispered cry. He reached down and he drew me deep and where I heard in a powerful hand he pulled me out to set me down safely on a ladies and gentlemen, Converse, our dance troupe. true, some can dance, but I'm so glad that some is okay to watch. Well, isn't that great? Thank you, young people, for sharing with us. Can I just remind you of the scripture that I read that says, when I was unsteady, he held me until I could continue my journey. Then the psalm goes on to say, as if that were not enough, because now my mind is clearing up, now I have a song that I can sing, a song of praise to the one who saved me, because what he has done many people will see, and they too can come to the one eternal. Amen. The Region Hall Band and songsters, they're from the local Salvation Army just nearby, and they're going to share music, and we're going to enjoy that blessing right now. Would you like to welcome them, please? Continuing with Psalm 40, it says, right now we can't see him because we are surrounded by troubles. Our sins and shortcomings have cut us up, and we are swimming in darkness. Like the hairs on my head, they are too many to count, and so my heart deserts me. And here's a prayer for us all. Oh, Eternal One, please rescue us. Oh, Eternal One, hurry. We need God's help in this day. Oh, we have a treat for you right now. You're going to get to listen to a group that's called For, F-O-U-R, For Him. Bless you as you come and sing for us. Welcome them, please.
Oh Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the works thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power through throughout the university's fate. There sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. And when I think that God his Son not sparing sent him to die, I scarce can take it in, that on the cross my burden gladly bearing, he bled and died to take away my sin. There sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. When Christ will come, reach out of acclamation and take me home. What joy will fill my heart. Then I will bow in humble adoration and there proclaim, my God, how great you are. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art, how great thou art, how great thou
I think you enjoyed that very much. If you'll just hold on for one moment, they're going to sing another, and it's one that you'll know and enjoy. They're singing about the greatness of God, and we want to boldly tell everybody today that God is great. Here in the assembly of his people, we proclaim that God is great. So we say to the Eternal One, don't hold back. Pour your greatness upon us and upon your people here in this place. We need in these days a strong deliverer. We need a clear truth. And we watch to God today that we might receive that from him. And it comes to us because of his amazing grace. And for him is going to share a song now that will be known to all of us. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. A variation of it.
I'm sin and darkness, whose God is mighty. unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You laid down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Like the sun in all of his brilliance, the King of glory, the King above all kings. This is amazing grace. This is unfailing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You laid down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy is the King who conquered the grave. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Worthy, worthy, worthy. This is amazing praise. This is amazing love, that you would take my place, that you would bear my cross. You laid down your life, that I would be set free. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. Oh, Jesus, I sing for all that you've done for me. For me.
I want to say thank you for him and for giving us that rather updated version of Amazing Grace. Wasn't that wonderful? So we're going to finish in a moment or two, and the band is going to play a tune for you called Happy. Are you happy today? There you go. Well, it's all said and done. Would you do something for me? We're the Salvation Army locally, and we enjoy this music every weekend when we gather for worship. I don't know what life is like for you these days. If you want to come and visit us, you're very welcome, and we'd be very glad to share even more of this joy of being in God's service with you. Would you join me in a prayer? It's one that many of us know, and you may want to pray it today in your own language. We'll share the Lord's Prayer together before the band plays Happy. Would you join me, please, in the Lord's Prayer? Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. God bless all of you. Thank you to the Region Hall Band. Happy. Bless you this afternoon.
Wasn't that amazing? Here we are at Trafalgar Square. The band's going to continue to play, and I'm going to go and have a chat with one of our friends here in the audience. If you just come with me over here. This is Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You having fun today?
Yes, very much. Yes.
So, what are we doing down here? What? Tell us a little bit about what your hopes are for being down here in Trafalgar Square today.
In Trafalgar Square, we'll celebrate the whole world mobilizing. That is, the Salvation Army try to reach out to the world and to contact people in need. And now it's been a whole year process. So now we're celebrating.
And whereabouts are you originally from?
I'm from Hong Kong.
From Hong Kong, all the way from Hong Kong. Excellent. So in a moment, what's going to happen after this? Are we going to go and have a chat to some people in the community, or what's happening after this? Are we going to go have a chat with some people in the community?
Oh, sure. We will. Although it is the celebration, but afterwards we still keep on mobilizing ourselves to reach out to the people. So definitely, we in our community center, in our service units, we are still open ourselves up to the people who are in need. So maybe after these activities, we will stay behind and talk to people, and they may be interested to know more about the Army.
Excellent. And I think that's what mobilising is all about. It doesn't just stop here today, but it continues on in every day of our lives. It's not just about going to church on a Sunday, but it's about every day going into our community, chatting to our neighbours, chatting to our family that don't know God. And mobilising is all about just spreading the hope that Jesus brings us. So let's continue to have a look around, and I'm going to find someone else to have a chat to. Let's go. Come with me, let's go. I found someone. Hi. Commissioner Rosalie here, everyone. the visionary of the whole world mobilising. Commissioner Rosalie, can you tell us a bit about how the day has been today and what you've experienced here so far?
Sure. It's been a fabulous day. This morning at our worship service at Regent Hall, the moving of the Holy Spirit was there. Those who participated were excellent. There's a great feeling in the service as we shared in worship together. It's important for all of us to make sure that we are holy people. If we're going to share the message of Jesus about transformation, then we have to experience that transformation for ourselves. And I think for all of us this morning that there was such a moving of the Spirit in our own hearts that we felt better equipped to come out this afternoon to share with the people here at Trafalgar Square. So, yeah, it was a winner. It was a winner of a wonderful meeting this morning.
And what is your heart for mobilisation after we finish here today? From my understanding, it doesn't stop here, does it?
No,
it continues on.
No. You can't mobilize the Salvation Army and then say, okay, we're finished as of the end of 2017. We are hoping that people have become so engaged, Salvationists have become so engaged in mobilizing that it's now part of their life. It's a lifestyle. It's changed me personally. I've changed the way that I do things. I'm more in tune with looking out to the people around me now. I walk to work every morning, and I prayer walk now, which is a really wonderful thing for me. It's changed the way that I pray. I look for people who I want to talk with and pray for. So yeah, I think that this is a good thing. I think this has changed the Salvation Army. Not that we weren't doing it. I think that we are now again. I think the Spirit has spoken into us, a fresh wind of the Spirit, and we know that we need to speak with people. People need hope. The world is in a mess, and we are people who can speak hope into their lives by sharing Jesus with them.
Well, you've heard it here, everyone. Commissioner Rosalie's heart for the whole world mobilising. I think she speaks for every one of us here. We're going to continue to gather together with everyone. They're reconvening over here, and then we're going to head back for our celebration meeting. So we'll see you soon.
Before they come back here to Regent Hall. That was an amazing sight to see so many people just stopping and watching and listening, and hopefully getting some of the message that the different groups were trying to get across. I'm here in the studio with Colonel Lisbeth Wallander, and Lisbeth has been really heavily involved in the mobilising that's taken place at international headquarters.
Yeah.
Lisbeth, do you want to just tell us something about what's been happening and some of the people you've met?
As it has been said a lot of times during this mobilizing campaign, this is not a new thing for the army. It has happened before. And also at IHQ there has been a prayer ministry outside IHQ several times for many years. But this year we have tried to make an extra effort. And everyone working at IHQ has been invited to join one of the teams interacting in Queen Victoria Street. It's quite something. We are there with a cup of coffee. We are there with some magazines telling the gospel story, telling the story about how the Salvation Army works in 128 countries. And then a lot of one-to-one encounters, face-to-face. We have a lot of tourists in London, a lot of catch-ups with them, but also people who come and they will tell that they have things they would like us to pray for. People who would like to tell a bit of the story of their life. And you know, when you open up about your own life, you really need someone who have time to listen. And we have given ourselves that time and to be there and to listening in. One lady told me that she had been in the Salvation Army when she was young herself. And she remembered very well when she played her tambourine, and then life had changed. So many stories we could tell. We have a weekly devotion time inside IHQ, but you know it's open windows, transparency, people can see us.
Yeah.
And there was one man, he was saying to me, when we were there outside, he said to me, I've seen Salvation Army, you are there, you are singing, I can see you inside in that room. What are you singing about? And I started to tell a little bit about what we perhaps sang when he saw us. And then he was saying, so what does that mean? And he really started to ask about the wordings in the songs and the meanings of the song. And one more opportunity to tell the gospel story. That's what it's all about.
Wonderful. So it's really not just for, it's not just for individuals, it's not just for corps, but this mobilising is for the whole Salvation Army. It's for headquarters. It's even for international headquarters.
Even for international headquarters, which is quite a global village.
Yeah.
So many people coming from different parts of the world. So many kind of English in activity outside the building on that day. But this is a global city, and this gives us so many opportunities to link to people who perhaps are from the same country as we are ourselves. That has even happened. A lot of Norwegians in London.
Yeah.
So I have even met Norwegians.
Well, hang on. I think we're off on the go again. So as you can see, the march is headed off of Trafalgar Square. I mean, I don't know whether a lot of people realise, but Trafalgar Square has been used by the Salvation Army before. Regent Hall have used it for different events, but probably the most famous event to take part in Trafalgar Square was linked with the 1965 centennial celebrations when the Salvation Army was 100, and there was a great march of witness that finished in Trafalgar Square for an open-air meeting with the Joy Strings, the Salvation Army pop band of the 1960s. There are probably quite a lot of people watching this who might remember that. It was before my time, I've got to say. But it must have been quite an event to have held there, particularly in those sort of days with a pop band as part of what you had on display. I'm going to take this moment actually to remind people to share their prayers, share their celebrations, share what's happened with them with mobilising. If you use Instagram or Twitter or on Facebook, use the hashtag TSA Celebrates. That celebrates with an S on the end. And if you want to share prayer requests, or not only prayer requests, but examples of answered prayer, use hashtag TSA Pray. So that's TSA Celebrates or TSA Pray.
This is great. Yeah, around there and then follow again. Oh no. They are turning. Just keep in front. It's good. Yeah. Yeah. Can you slow down again and get that same distance? Thank you.
On a hill. There we go.
street then? We're just looking at the Facebook. Just looking at Facebook and we're getting comments in from all around the world. Halifax, Nova Scotia, hello to Janice Timberlake. From Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Another one on that part of the world. Ricard Velasquez. Another one from Canada, Harry Stockley. And then round to the other side we've got Kennison Guy watching from Hong Kong. So we've got people right from around the world who are watching. And we've got the Philippines.
Wow.
Philippines, yeah. Bali, Indonesia. What sort of time is it over there? It must be pretty late at night over there. Harold Wood, that's not very far from here at all. Stockton, the training college in Pakistan. Hello, Pakistan. Valeria Roman, Lurgan, Northern Ireland. We've got people literally from all over the world watching the stream at the moment. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you're remembering to share using hashtag CSA Celebrate and hashtag TSA Praise. We've still got Colonel Elizabeth Verlander here.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the outreach that takes place at international headquarters.
Yes.
And you were saying about the IHQ being an international family, and there was one particular person who you made a particular connection with because you're Norwegian.
Yes, that was one of those God incidents moments, perhaps. It was outside, we were there, I was a part of the team for that morning. And we handed out coffee, magazines, talking about Salvation Army and the gospel story. And then I just took a shortcut? I took another little route and I went down along the River Thames. And a young girl was there. She was fine, but we started to talk. And I have to say her English was very good. It wasn't in my thinking that she was not from England, but she started to say to me she was a student and sometimes she felt this feeling of not being at home could sometimes be a kind of a stress, and this longing for what was familiar when you lived in another country. So then I asked her, so where are you from? And she said to me, I'm from Norway. And then I could say, or open up my secret, which she perhaps already had realized. I'm from Norway too. And we had both lived in Oslo, and we pictured part of the city she was thinking about when listening. And you know, I think it was good for her to have the ability to talk Norwegian right there and then.
Yeah.
And it was also good for me. I was also quite new in London. That's what I feel. It's a big city. It's good to connect.
That's amazing, which really is what mobilising is all about.
Yes.
It's about making the connections.
Yes.
So thank you, Colonel, for sharing with us what's been going on at international headquarters. I know you've got other jobs you need to be doing and people you need to be looking after, so I'll let you go. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you.
You done?
Yes.
Sorry.
That's right.
Okay. I walked in and
Hello, welcome back to the studio. I've now got with me the Whole World Mobilising Project Manager, Esther Ellen Nelson. Now, she is a Salvationist from, and I've got to say this right, Reykjavik.
oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah, any good? So, Esther, you've just been out on the march to Trafalgar Square and on the open air.
Yes.
How are you feeling? How did it go?
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It's always amazing to see how many people, busy people that can't be bothered for anything, but they stop, they hear the music coming, they see the flags, people marching, they start to wave, they're taking video. It's beautiful.
Fantastic. So do you have anything like this in Iceland?
Be a little colder when you march march outside.
That's true.
But we don't have brass either.
No. So this is really, a lot of this is very new to you. The sort of the British approach, but also what you see coming in from around the world, and so the things that make the Salvation Army special in each location.
Definitely. And being part of this project, we've gotten to see things from all over the world, what's happening, and the different expressions, different ways that people are sharing the same message.
Anything in particular that stands out that you want to share?
I have to tell you, for him, the music at the open air, when they started singing their first song, I was up on the stairs of the National Gallery Museum, and there was an older couple standing there, and they stopped to listen, and the lady started crying. She said, "That is so beautiful."
Oh, wow.
And she started singing with them, and it was just beautiful. It was just a beautiful moment.
So we're coming up near to the end of the march here. What we're going to do is we're going to hopefully, we've lost pictures for a minute, but we're going to get pictures back any second. What we should be able to see any moment is the full scale of the march. When we go into obviously the photos from the front give you an idea, but I don't think you really capture the full scale of the march until you see the whole thing going by, with the children with balloons, and the band and the leaders, and as you can see there's lots of people from IHQ, and the people from IHQ were asked to come along where possible in their national uniform, and I think that's something that perhaps even Salvationists in the UK don't realise how many different uniforms there are around the Salvation Army world. So you get the white from Africa, and the grey from India, and there's other parts of Africa with grey as well. And it really just gives you a chance to appreciate the internationalism of the Salvation Army. Oh, there's some good waving there. Nice waving. Always like some waving. So we're coming up to the top of Regent Street now. And as you can see, they're still going. Lots of people walking past, filming it. And as you can see, it's created quite a stir in London today. This huge march going through. There they go. And all the marshals. We've got some marshals from Regent Hall here. Regent Hall have been so wonderful in their way to look after us and welcome us as part of their celebration. Okay, so what's happening now is as they're finishing coming back, they're going to come out of the march and come back into the hall for an evening celebration. That's going to be led by General Andre Cox again, and it will really be a celebration of everything that's happening as part of the whole world mobilising. Examples of mobilising, ways that people have really found to reach out into their local communities, to look at what the needs really are. Again, I'm going to keep on telling you this, so don't get bored. Hashtag TSA celebrates and hashtag TSA pray. If you can see something that your corps or community or centre or headquarters or whatever is doing, then use those hashtags to tell us what they're doing. The celebration meeting will start at about 3:30. So it's 45 minutes from now in British summertime here. So about 45 minutes from now is when the celebration meeting will start. And we hope this is going to carry on for a little while longer now. We hope that you'll either stay with us or join us again this evening for the whole celebration. As you can see, as they march up Regent Street, you can see some of the banners overhead. We've had some NFL games, so American football games that have been held in London, 2 in Wembley, 2 at Twickenham, which is the home of English rugby. And they hold proper season games over here, and it's become quite a big thing. And so you can see as you go down Regent Street, you've got the American flag and the British flag, and all the sites of the NFL. There was a big sort of party here last week where people could come and meet some players from the NFL and just really to celebrate the game. And it's probably a good example of how how London is such an international city, that it brings people in from all around the world. We've already heard Colonel Verlander talk about the Norwegian person that she met, and we also find that, at the International Headquarters Cafe, we get so many people from all around the world who come in, and they're often surprised when they're able to meet and talk to someone from their own country. You're back with me in the studio. I think you can hear me now. Sorry about that. It's just what happens with a live broadcast. We're back here. I'm back at Regent Hall. I'm hoping to get a couple of people off of the march when they finish, just to come in and talk about how it went and how they really felt about being part of this amazing event. I think even now they're starting to rehearse things for tonight. So please remember to join us again and again. Please use the hashtags TSA Celebrates. That TSA Celebrates with an S on the end. If you do TSA Celebrate, and as you've heard, there's a rehearsal going on. I can't quite hear it because they shut the door through to it. But the gospel choir that's going to be part of this evening's celebration is going to be there. So as you can see here, they are just setting up, making sure their mics are in place. So this evening we've got the gospel choir. We've got some dancing from Converse, which is the group that you saw at the open air. They're doing another dance. In fact, they're doing a dance number as part of the pre-meeting music and during the meeting itself. We've got For Him, sometimes called the Salvation Army's boy band. I don't know if you can hear, but there's a rehearsal going on, and they're about to stop it. Typical. Just as we were about to go to them, they decided to stop the music. But it's really trying to show this whole diversity of performers, of
nobody's here at the moment. Just me. Oh yes, I'm sat on the sofa. Oh. Kevin live.
Okay. Thanks. All right.
Oh, is Kevin sound live? There's a few bits coming in on the social wall, we've got Italy, prison ministry in the UK.
Got anyone else?
Just when they're not having a conversation.
Hi, well, wasn't that absolutely amazing? Here we have Richard here. Richard, can you tell us a little bit about what you experienced just then?
Oh, well, it was quite overwhelming, really. We've been planning this now for months and months, and just to see it all come together like that, and all the people on the street, and the public interest in what we're doing, it was just great.
What was the general consensus of the people standing along the street as you walked past? Were they, taking photos? Like, what was the sort of vibe? What was the feeling?
Yeah, there was a lot of interest. I think someone said to me at Trafalgar Square, it's good to see something real going on. There's so much sham and people being ripped off, but here we have something that we're taking to the people that's genuine, it's real, it's about at the core of our being, and I think people are interested to see that. It doesn't happen very often in that location. I mean, as a Salvation Army, we're really lucky to be able to do this week by week in the West End of London, and the reaction you get is really positive, and contrary to what people think about religion being irrelevant in these days, people are interested and they want to know, so it's great to be able to do this.
It brings a sense of joy to the community in their uniform walking down the street. Do you feel like it changes the atmosphere as you're walking through the streets, particularly in such a busy city like London? Do you think a march just sort of changes a bit of the atmosphere?
Oh, absolutely, and you can see people's faces lighting up, they smile, kids start waving, and people really do engage with that kind of thing. Yes, absolutely.
It's excellent. Well, we've had such a great afternoon marching down the streets of London, and we had such a great experience down at Trafalgar Square, and we're just about to go in and continue our celebration for our 3:30 meeting, and we're just excited just to continue to celebrate this great mobilisation campaign from 2017, so we'll check you in there. See you later.
Hello, welcome back. Back here at Regent Hall. Now, you may wonder what Regent Hall is. It's the Salvation Army Corps, right in the centre of London. I think we're going back to Becky to get a bit more reaction from people coming back from the open air. So, here's Becky, here's someone else.
Coming back to me?
Hello.
All right.
Yes,
Hi,
thank you.
here we have Andrew. And Andrew, can you tell us a bit about yourself and what your part of today's mobilisation activities were?
So, I'm just sent
I'm
in
Andrew
here.
Wicker.
Yes.
I played the
We're just
piano
trying to
for
grab people to come in and talk to them.
Great event to just be part of. I attend the Salvation Army in Swindon Citadel, and I've come up today to be part
So,
of this afternoon.
You've got questions
Have you been a
to
part
ask,
of
and,
anything
things
quite
that you
like
want me to
today
answer?
before?
Not really, no. I mean, I've been playing before him for a while now.
You're feeling about it.
We were involved in a congress a couple of weeks ago in Wales.
What mobilising sort of means to you?
Yes. Okay. Yep, sure.
And what's the thought behind For Him as a band, would you say, or a group? What's the thought behind establishing a group?
Well, For Him started about 2 years ago. Group of
So
four
you
young men.
you're a lieutenant colonel?
Yes.
Or you were former?
They were so successful.
No, just
Lieutenant colonel.
Places, so been going for about 2 years. And it's just really to show that Christianity
And you put
can be
together
relevant
the
in
prayer
ways.
section for this morning as well, yeah?
Kelly and I
tried to
looked
do
at it,
a
but David Giles did
quite old
the
music,
film
actually,
thing.
but in a new way.
We talked about the kind of things that we were looking for, and we suggested.
Yeah, I noticed you did a lot of
music and so on.
revamped music,
How long do you need the
and I suppose
interview?
having like the bass guitar and just different
How long
instruments
until we
in
can
there
start?
sort of brings just that element of
until we
relevance to
start,
today's
or
generation.
until-
And do you sort of feel as though there have been, I guess, young people that have engaged with not just the Salvation Army, but with the message of hope through Jesus through your ministry?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just presenting the gospel in a different way. And there's a place for all sorts of music in worship. And I enjoy traditional army music as much as many people do, but it's also good to do it.
So the moment I've got people talking in my ear,
in a different
as well
way,
as trying to...
just to try
Yes.
And it
the bass player Scott.
just concentrate so hard on what you're saying.
He got involved.
Yeah, it's
I
because I'm entirely...
I get it.
Or here at Regent Hall.
I remember doing some radio, and we were in at one
And do you
stage
see For
7-second
Him
delay.
as,
Yeah.
I
You've
guess,
got one can
something
on,
that
you're
you
talking
use
to
as in
somebody
your
as well,
personal
and
world
you're
as
waiting to
mobilising?
hear.
When we've been talking this year about the whole world mobilising, I suppose you sort of think about what your gifts and talents are and what you can bring to mobilise in your community. And so do you sort of see For Him as sort of something like that, where you can use mobilise and reach to Christ?
Yeah, you this afternoon thousands of Trafalgar Square. Wales a couple of weeks ago, we did a event outside a town called Becci, where there hasn't been a Salvation Army for about 80 years, so it was great to be able to minister to people outside there as well.
Well, it's been great to chat with you, and you guys just did such an have a chat to him and see what's.
Excellent. I'm joined in the studio again by this. He's just been out on the march. Feeling? How did it get?
Interested in the subject. Just speaking to of it, and he was saying, does the Salvation Army do this often? What's going on? And so we told him a little bit about what is actually happening, the whole world mobilising thing which we're celebrating today.
Wow, fantastic. And we can tell from your voice you're not from a Londoner. Where are you from?
I'm from Australia. All sorts of places.
And in London at the meeting.
Well, it was more my wife than anything. I was just assisting in the background. We also had the help of some other people as well with the video and so on. But the idea, of course, was that we could celebrate what had happened in prayer and praise to the Lord for what's happened so far as whole world mobilising is concerned.
Fantastic. And for you, the sort of in a bigger picture, what does mobilising mean, and how do you think it's affecting the Salvation Army?
Well, I think this has been, if you like, a pilot, the start of it, the place where we develop the impetus and start the moving forward. The number of places throughout the world that have really been engaging in this whole process of getting out there and making sure that we are taking the message of the gospel to the far-flung parts of their respective countries. But the thing that becomes important is that it's not seen as being, well, that was it. It was 2017 and now it's over. I like to see this as the pilot of a whole world mobilising ethos that continues to remain with the Salvation Army moving forward.
Fantastic. Well, that's great. It's been great to speak to you. I know you're ready to head off for the evening celebration. I'm sure you want to get yourself ready, and sort of decompress from from a long walk, and thank you ever so much for joining us.
Thanks,
I think we're going to go back to Becky now as she. Becky, can you hear me? Are you there? Thank you.
Thank you. No problems. Catch you later.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, here we are still outside of Regent Hall, and I have a special guest here. Do you want to introduce yourself to?
No.
What's your name?
Dudley Bright.
This is Dudley Bright, and I hear, Dudley, that you are a composer, and tell us a bit about, I don't really know, to be honest, but try not to be humble, just tell us the truth.
End the score.
And what was your think about when you think about the whole world mobilising?
I'm sorry, I wasn't here this morning. I was.
It's all about and about praying more and that sort of.
Very profound respect for spirituality because it's what most artists are. And we used to have a conductor, Sir Colin Davis, who said when he conducts the great religious choral works, he's almost a believer. And to think that it's maybe just that much.
Talking about us today. Thank you.
National headquarters.
It's cold.
But anyway, in spite of the cold, how did you find that today?
That received us well, gone more smoothly. We got to Trafalgar Square, people there accepted us, and we got to really witness about God's work, about His work in the Army and the Army's work in every community around the world.
Yeah.
Really.
So what's your experience been at the Salvation Army before you came here?
Before I came here, as you mentioned, I was in Phoenix, Arizona, born and raised, serving there as well. And I was the Women's Ministries, Divisional Women's Ministry Secretary at Southwest Divisional Headquarters.
And now you're here in London, you're settling in, but how are you finding, part of the thing that I say working in international headquarters is the Salvation Army is sort of the same all around the world and sort of different all around the world. How are you finding that?
Well, just like you said, it's a little bit the same, it's a little bit different. Everyone has been very welcoming, kind, making sure that we're settling in, and I'm pretty sure daily I'm asked how the kids are settling in as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I hope you enjoy the rest of your time here, and I'll let you go now so that you can go and get ready and sort the kids out for the evening meeting, which is in 20 minutes. 20 minutes now until the evening celebration, so not long to go at all.
Sounds
good.
So,
thank you, and we'll see you later.
See you later. Thank you.
Right, so, and we have Becky getting ready to join us after walking 2.5 miles, I think, today, and probably back and forward a lot as well. Hello, Becky.
Hi everyone, we're back. Oh, hello. Oh my gosh, that was so amazing.
So how did
but just in front of the National Gallery, and it was such an amazing atmosphere down there.
Yeah.
There was crowds of people gathering around, taking photos, taking video, singing along to the music. It was fantastic. Loved
Brilliant.
it.
Did you get a chance to speak to any of the people who were watching who were not in our group?
It was quite fast paced. I didn't really get to chat to too many people on camera, but when I was off camera, there was people carrying balloons as I was walking down the street, carrying the white balloons with the Salvation Army logo, and people. There was just such a sense of joy on people's faces.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was just electric. It was amazing.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Because part of the idea of this open air was not that we were just there sort of presenting some music and doing things that people have to listen to. There were people around with balloons and talking, face painting, really trying to sort of interact with what was going on. Anyway, I think we're just about done here.
Excellent.
So I can take a deep breath and say we're nearly done. Thank you ever so much to Becky. Thank you to everyone who's been watching. Don't forget, keep on using the hashtags TSA Celebrate and TSA Pray. And we hope you really enjoy the music and the prayers and everything that's been prepared for this evening. So bye from us here in Regent Hall, and God bless you all.
God bless you. See you.